Yeah. I used to dream about showing the world what I dream about. Forget a mic, my whole life I thought it'd be the mount. I guess it's fitting how life threw me the curveball. Pops told me work till you make it, man, then work more. I guess I took that to heart, cause I've been working harder now than I.
You just never know these days, my friend.
I always know. Shut your fucking hole.
Suck a dick, suck a dick, suck a... Shh, chill.
Oh, we're doing this. Okay, hi. I wasn't paying attention.
You weren't paying any attention?
No, hello.
Alright, welcome back everybody. Another episode of Mom's Basement or Mind Over Matter Sports. As usual, I'm your host Joe. With me again is Corey.
What's going on, everybody?
Pretty excited to be here today. We got a lot to discuss. Pretty on-the-fly episode here.
Your boy's a very proud White Sox fan today.
Corey's a little happy today.
Oh, you have no idea.
A little happy. Because a lot of teams have been making moves, winter meetings. I don't want to sound like a Christmas person, but it is the most wonderful time of the off-season. Kind of Christmas.
Oh,
time.
for baseball? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you meant like most. I thought you meant like most, like the best sports time of the year, and I was like, no. But never mind. Hi guys.
Towards baseball off-season.
I'm really not paying attention. I'm in my own little world right now, so.
Well, we're not even there yet. We're not there yet. We've got a little NFL, we've got a little NBA, and then we're going to get into the good stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that
meat
makes
of
me
it.
happy.
Yeah, all right. So NFL, we're looking at the playoff race today. AFC, we've got the 6 playoff teams as it stands right now. Oakland, New England, Kansas City, Denver, Baltimore, and Miami. Not specifically in that order, I don't think, because the division that's in such.
But record-wise, that's the order.
Yeah. So Oakland, I mean, I had 3 out of the 6 of these teams from my predictions. I don't know how many you had.
I think I had 3 because I had, we had Oakland and New England we both had, and I had Denver.
And I had Kansas City.
But as far as Baltimore, Miami, and KC go, I did not.
Miami's point differential is actually negative, so I'm not really assuming them to make the playoffs, especially because Pittsburgh's right behind them at 7-5 also, so I think Pittsburgh overtakes them. Baltimore, I think, is a facade. They're not a very good team. They just kind of stay in the game.
Baltimore is first round of playoffs eliminated if they're not caught by the Steelers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Duchesne, I don't give a shit.
They're just not that good.
They're one of the worst teams in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't have Denver in the playoffs, the defending Super Bowl champion. That is still possible. They are still only a game up.
Well,
I mean, they're the third best team in their own division.
If the season ended today, your boy would be right.
Yeah, that's true. All right. There was a lot of surprises this NFL season also. I mean, there was just a ton of teams that came out of nowhere, a ton of teams that are normally good, and then they just look shaky throughout the whole season. So looking at the NFC is a perfect example.
How many teams lose their starting quarterback and then go 11-1 like Dallas did?
How many people picked Dallas to make the playoffs this year? Crickets.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I can tell you I didn't.
I don't even think a guy like Skip Bayless, who just rides Dallas all day long, picked them to make the playoffs. So they're 11-1. I had, I think, again, 3 of these teams in the playoffs.
Well, who had Detroit winning the NFC North?
Nobody.
No one had that.
No.
I mean, I had them at 10-6. You had them at 9-7. There's no chance.
Yeah, no way.
I'm talking about the Bears. My bad, guys.
Yeah, the Bears. I got what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's see. So we had Dallas 11-1. Seattle was it 8-3?
8-3-1.
I forgot about the tie. God
Ties,
damn.
A lot of ties. 2 ties. Yep.
Atlanta and Tampa Bay at the bottom too.
Tampa Bay looks good for a little youth movement there. I mean.
Yeah, I don't think I had either of those 2.
I had Atlanta. I know I had the Giants in there, and I had.
I had the Giants. I had Seattle. I did not have anything else. You know, some of this stuff you just can't predict.
Yeah, the Super Bowl. Let's look at the Super Bowl. Who we got? Who we taking?
I mean, is it too easy right now to say, Dallas and New England? Is that...
I'm going to pick Dallas and Oakland.
Okay.
I think the loss of Gronk for New England is bigger than people would think. I know they have Martellus Bennett, but what has he really done this year?
But you know who New England has? They have Bill Belichick.
They do.
And you know what? Brady's done more with less.
And you know what I think of when I think of playoff football, specifically as it just gets deeper into the playoffs, and some places it'll get colder and colder, not specifically the Super Bowl. I don't know where the Super Bowl's played this year. I think Miami.
Sounds like
maybe,
it makes sense.
But Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are just going to run down people's throats, I think, in the NFC. Especially Zeke Elliott. That guy's a godsend. We got what for the Super Bowl?
Let's see.
Corey doesn't know. He can't read.
I don't. Well, it starts
He can't read.
I'm an idiot. It's okay, guys. It's okay. I don't know where the hell this is. You know what?
Oh, Houston.
Houston.
Yeah,
so
that's indoors anyways.
Yeah, so that it's not going to be much of a factor, and it's also Houston, even if it was outdoor.
Yeah.
But
I'll still take Dallas, Oakland.
So Dallas, Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking Dallas, New England because Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's all I really need to say.
We all know Ryan Fitzpatrick's the best quarterback in that division, right?
He's not the best quarterback on his team.
I know, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. All right, so that's enough of the playoffs, all that nonsense. What we really want to talk about in the NFL is the Bears, the 3-9 Bears. They won last week against the 49ers in a game they should have legitimately tried to lose on purpose.
Yeah, I think it was one of those games where we talked about it in the previous podcast how the Bears' talent level doesn't match the record.
Yes.
I think the Bears' talent level is above and beyond that of the 49ers by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
And it was just one of those weeks where even if the Bears tried to lose, they were still a better team regardless because of the talent level. So
that solidified them at 4 in the draft order?
Right now they're tied with the Jets for the 4th or 5th pick.
Yeah.
It would be a coin flip at the end of the season because they're not in the same conference, so they don't use strength of schedule.
Right.
Based on that, I believe is what the tiebreaker is. But yeah, right now they're behind the Jaguars.
So say they get the 5th pick. You know, the Jets are in front of them, San Fran, Cleveland. All are going to take quarterbacks. What are we doing? You still Myles Garrett's probably going too.
So if Myles Garrett goes too, then probably the best player there is going to be either Jonathan Allen, the defensive end from Alabama, or Jamal Adams, the safety from LSU. Some people aren't a big fan of taking defensive backs in the top 5. I haven't looked at a lot of Jamal Adams tape yet. I have looked at Jonathan Allen's tape, and he's a monster. An absolute monster defensive end. But the Bears need a safety, so you usually draft best player available over need. But if Jamal Adams is one of the top 5 players in this draft, you take him at 5, I think, because it fills a need and it's great value.
And then look to take a quarterback in the 2nd round.
Yeah, Matt Miller right now, I don't know if you follow Matt Miller on Twitter. He's got Jamal Adams as his number 1 safety and I think number 4 overall player. So if he's there at 5, I'll take him.
And then, you just got a lot of work to do through the rest of the rounds, obviously.
Yeah, and we got to talk about if John Fox is coming back.
See, I think that I heard Fox today say the whole coaching staff will be back next year, and I think that's a total lie. I mean, this is the same guy that said Jay Cutler was day to day, and Jay Cutler had a torn labrum. So I mean, I just can't believe anything that guy says.
There was a report out today that Vic Fangio might be leaving at the end of the year.
And he disputed that. He came out and said that was garbage.
Yeah, but when there's smoke, there's fire, so we'll see about that.
The OC should definitely be gone.
Dowell Loggins is absolutely terrible. This should be John Fox's only chance to get it right to hire the proper offensive coordinator.
If it was me, I would just fire them all. I would maybe leave. I like Fangio. I like
Fangio too.
But John Fox, I'd say goodbye. Especially if I'm drafting a quarterback that I'm going to try and groom. I don't want John Fox grooming my young quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there was a discussion on Twitter, at least from Bears fans today, that I saw that if Fangio's leaving because he wants a head coaching job somewhere else, why wouldn't you fire John Fox and make Vic Fangio head coach? And I could see that. Ultimately, my gut still tells me Fox comes back next year and he gets one chance to replace the offensive coordinator.
All right, one more thing I want to talk about. Should the Bears re-sign Alshon Jeffrey to a long-term contract?
I mean, in all likelihood, because of the suspension, he's probably going to end up playing under the tag for one more season. I could see that happening. The Bears have very few players that you can actually look at and be like, yeah, they drafted this guy, developed him, and he's a stud. You've got Alshon, you've got Kyle Long, and
Adrian Amos, almost there.
Adrian Amos is playing out of a position right now.
I still love the guy.
I think he's a very good strong safety. But he's playing more of a coverage role, and I don't think that fits for him. But back to Alshon. Gut says he plays under the tag again because he still hasn't proven he can stay on the field for 16 games. I don't care if it's because of a suspension.
Yeah.
He's still not on the field for 16 games. And I can't see myself giving him 5 years, $75 million.
He's going to ask for 12 or 13, I think,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, that would be, that's around 5 years and like $70 million. Yeah. He hasn't shown to me that he's in the same class as Odell and Antonio Brown, so he might be the low end of number 1 receivers, or maybe
I think he's a 2.
Yeah,
still.
Or maybe the best number 2 in all of football. That's why it was so important that Kevin White, pan out. But fuck Kevin White. So I think if you're asking me on opening day next year, Alshon will be in a Bears uniform. I don't know if it'll be on a long-term deal because you just don't know what his value is right now.
Personally, I think there will be teams interested in him if he becomes a free agent.
Okay, so tag him and trade him.
I think you basically have no offensive weapons on this team. So are you going to try and let him go? Like, are you just going to let him walk? I mean, you could tag him, but I just think there's something in my head that says the Bears are going to look at it that way. Like, we don't have anything else. Let's sign him to like a 4-year deal.
Yeah, the big thing with signing him long term is he's got injury risk, he's got a suspension risk, and you just wonder I hope it impacts negotiations to the point where maybe he gets a 4-year, $40 million contract or 42 as opposed to 5 years, 75 or something like that, because I don't think he's worth that.
Right. I wouldn't pay him that, but I just think that they're going to look at it that way, and they're going to say, oh, crap, we've got nothing else in this offense. We might as well throw money at
it. It's not like he's a terrible player when he's on the
he's not horrible.
He'll still he's going to give you 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards.
As long as your quarterback looks his way.
Well,
Shout out Brian Hoyer.
Yeah. Fuck Brian Hoyer.
Yeah. All right. Enough about the Bears, enough about football. We're going to move into the NBA here. The Chicago Bulls. Oh, my God. 11-10.
You guys saw that.
The 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. So if the playoffs started today, I know it's super early. We're like a third, 21 out of 82.
So about a quarter of the way through the season.
There you go. Thanks for math. I can't do math.
I got you guys. I got everybody here. It's okay.
So they would play the Raptors right now, who would probably blow them out of the water in 5 games.
Well, see, you and I have never had a big debate on this. The second the Bulls make the playoffs, they're out in the first round.
I mean, I said they were going to be a 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah, I said about 4 or 5. I still think, I don't care if they are the 4 seed and they're playing a lower team, I don't see them winning in the playoffs.
I'm just not. I said it last time. I'm just not impressed. There's nothing impressive about this team. Jimmy Butler has put up pretty good numbers this year, and they still lose to garbage teams. They beat Cleveland. Congratulations. Then you go and lose to Dallas, Portland, and Detroit 3 games consecutively.
Remember, they beat Miami 3 times under Tibbs first season and Rose MVP season. They beat him 3 times in the regular season. Lost 4 out of 5 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't
regular season's garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole NBA season is just garbage in general because you have 4 teams that might have a chance at the title, and that's being a little generous. But the Bulls are going nowhere, guys.
Yeah, no, not
sorry,
impressive.
not sorry.
Not good. I had this debate on Friday night a lot at work. They're just not good. What'd you say?
A lot of salt.
No, there's no salt. There's no salt.
There's no salt.
There's real salt.
It's a fact. Yes. Thank you, Corey. It is a fact. The Bulls are not a good team. They will go nowhere in the Eastern Conference.
I still think I don't understand how people have this difficulty understanding how the NBA works.
Go ahead, Corey.
You need to be really bad to get the high lottery picks, draft a superstar, and while he's still under control, use the NBA cap space that you have to sign a free agent superstar. You need 2 superstars to contend. Bulls have
none.
Half of one.
They have nobody. You need a player that's better than Jimmy Butler for this team to compete. Period. And don't say Dwayne Wade because I will bang my head off this table.
Dwayne Wade's body is just as bad as Derrick Rose's body is.
Yes.
So.
Shout out Stugatz Entertainment. Joe's got a lot of salt going on.
No Stugatz Entertainment shout-outs today. I'm just throwing the facts at him. All right. Major League Baseball, Corey. The winter meetings. The best week of December, in my own very humble opinion. So a lot has happened in the last couple of days, which is basically the only reason we're here today, because we weren't planning to do this.
Guys, this was an emergency podcast.
Yeah,
but the White Sox decided to be a halfway functioning organization and make me really happy.
All right, Corey, why don't you go ahead and dive into what the White Sox have done over these winter meetings?
I'm just looking at this top 30 White Sox prospects right now. And guys, 30 hours ago, approximately 30 hours ago, the White Sox had maybe the 26th ranked farm system in all of baseball. They had great trade assets, but who trusts Kenny Williams to trade? Because Kenny Williams always used to be no sarcasm. This is my time. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, Kenny Williams. Fuck Kenny Williams. First of all, because he used to say we don't rebuild, we reload. That's bullshit. They were reloading a shitty asshole gun that wouldn't fire anymore. But hey. Fucked my team up for 10 years. They gave Rick Hahn control this time. Rick Hahn locked Kenny Williams in a closet at the winter meetings or, killed him and he's 6 feet under right now. I don't care what happened. But number one asset on the trade market was Chris Sale. And you know what? At the deadline, we were asking for a king's ransom for Chris Sale. We were asking for top prospects and Jackie Bradley Jr. And you know what? We got the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, ladies and gentlemen. Yoan Moncada
And what'd you get him for? For free, basically, because you don't pay any money to this guy.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is Moncada was signed for a $31 million contract, and then the Red Sox had to double that to get the right to negotiate with him. Is how I believe it works.
They have to pay a fee.
Yeah. So, and it's usually the same thing that you signed him for. So the Red Sox paid. Sorry guys, just off camera, some funny things are happening. But we're going to get back to it. Moncada is not going to be paid a dime by the Chicago White Sox for the foreseeable time that he is with the White Sox till 2023 or whatever his deal runs through. And the guy can do it all. The guy is a plus hitter with power, and he can field and
From
run.
both sides of the plate.
From both sides of the plate. He's not a finished product yet. He's still relatively young. I believe he is 21. So he's had MLB experience already. He needs a little work from the right side of the plate. He needs work on his contact ability. He still reminds some people to a lesser extent of Javi Baez when Javi Baez came up. Javi Baez was big swing and miss.
Yeah, you can get him out. You throw a slider down and away every time Javi Baez swings.
Yeah, Moncada, according to Keith Law at least, is that to a lower extent. So his problems can be fixed. And they also acquired Michael Kopech, who is the number 30 ranked minor league prospect in all of baseball, right-handed hard thrower. Touched 105 this previous year.
A few times, not just once.
Yeah, so dude throws the ball hard. He has ace-like potential. His slider is a plus pitch. His changeup's an average third pitch, which is all you really need as far as a third pitch goes.
He also hits pretty hard. Did break his pitching hand punching a teammate in spring training last year, so got that plus to him.
Yeah. I could make an Aroldis Chapman comment.
Aroldis Chapman's not on the Cubs. He's not on the Cubs. But go on. He's a free agent, but go on.
White Sox also acquired Luis Basabe from Boston in this deal, who is number 9 prospect in the White Sox organization now. He was number 8 in Boston's. He's one of those 5-tool guys. His hit tool is a little low, which makes you worry about strikeout rate, but he's also very young for his level. At least that's what I was Keith Law described it as. And the last guy they acquired, who is actually not even in their top 30 anymore because of a trade they made today, foreshadowing. But, yeah, this is about as good of a deal as you can get for Chris Sale because you weren't going to get Bregman, you weren't going to get Turner as much as you wanted to, but you know what? You got the best prospect in all of baseball.
And I thought they were going to deal him to Washington, not to spoil the next thing you're going to talk about, but I thought they were going to deal him to Washington, and I was like, boy, if they do this, I cannot believe that they will have screwed up this trade.
Yeah, but you know what? They may have done a smart thing. The general consensus was that they leveraged the Washington deal, which would have been Lucas Giolito, Victor Robles, Ronaldo Lopez, and Dane Dooning for Chris Sale, and they leveraged that for Dave Dombrowski to step in and be like, all right, we'll give you the best prospect in all of baseball, and we'll give you our best pitching prospect.
Dave Dombrowski is kind of known as that silent killer of a GM. Like, he's not afraid to trade prospects. He did it when he came to Detroit, and the White Sox were trying to acquire Miguel Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
No one heard Detroit. It was all quiet, and then all of a sudden, Dave Dombrowski makes a huge move, gets Miguel Cabrera. He did the same thing.
He always gets his guy, and you know what? He won't. It'll take him 20 minutes to convince a team to make it happen. So, and yeah, right now Chris Sale is on the Boston Red Sox. He is the 4th highest paid pitcher on the Boston Red Sox, and I think Chris Sale is.
And he's their opening day starter.
Yes, and I think Chris Sale is a prime Cy Young candidate for next year. But we could talk about that another time because he actually has a decent offense behind him, guys, and a pretty good defense as well.
An offense that will take a step back. You lose Big Poppy. You lose Travis Shaw. I don't know if you saw they traded him to Milwaukee for Thornburg, the right-hander, the relief pitcher from Milwaukee. So,
but they still have more pop than the White Sox could ever dream to have.
Yeah.
So, and then the second trade went down a couple hours ago. The White Sox just stole the best pitching prospect in all of baseball.
Yeah, they really did.
From the Washington
This is
Nationals.
insanity.
So Adam Eaton had a very good year last year. He transitioned from playing center field to playing right field. He was a Gold Glove caliber right fielder.
But if you look at his metrics in center compared to right, he is nowhere near as good in center as he is in right.
And that makes sense because, less ground to cover.
Yes.
You don't have to cover both sides, left center and right center. But, you know, by the time the White Sox are good again, he's going to be on the other side of 30. And he's going to be an average player, average to good player at that time. He's not going to be the 6 WAR player that he was this year.
It just blows my mind that they're giving up Giolito for a guy who they're going to play at center, who is not as good in center as he is in right. Obviously, you've got Bryce Harper there. I mean, I don't want to say, oh, you're building for Bryce Harper leaving, because that would be ridiculous for you to give up Giolito for that reason.
But even by the time that Bryce Harper leaves, Adam Eaton's still going to be about 30.
Yeah.
And he's not going to have the same impact that he has now. So what the White Sox did was they traded a guy at his highest value. Mm-hmm. You always buy low and sell high, and the White Sox sold high. And the first player they got back was Lucas Giolito, who is the number 3 ranked prospect in all of baseball and the number 1 pitching prospect. So the White Sox, in the span of 30 hours, have acquired 2 of the top 3 prospects in all of baseball, the best hitting prospect and the best pitching prospect. And Lucas Giolito, he's got plus stuff across the board: fastball, curveball, changeup, and his control is a plus aspect of him as well.
He's an absolute animal.
Washington soured on him a little bit because he had 22 innings of MLB ball, and he didn't play very well. He didn't pitch very well, but you know what? It's a lot of these guys do really bad in their debuts. Look at Javi Baez, and then as they come up for their second time around, you know, they've adjusted to the game. They've had some
time to
polish.
adjust, yes.
And Lucas Giolito, Michael Kopech, Carlos Rodon. Who else do they have coming up?
Carson
Fulmer, Spencer Adams,
Tyler Danish,
Dane Dooning. If Tyler Danish is in their rotation,
well, I'm not saying like right away.
Yeah,
but in their system.
Yeah, they have a bunch of pitchers now who I feel they can build a great rotation with going forward. Beyond that, they also traded for Reynaldo Lopez, who is the number 38 prospect in all of baseball and is also a right-handed pitcher. There are some people who say they like his stuff more than they like Lucas Giolito's stuff. I'm not sure. I don't agree with that. No. Again, he could be a starter or he could be a high-leverage reliever. Regardless, top 40 prospect. A second one for a right fielder who is clearly at his peak. And then they also acquired an unranked guy in the top 100 right now, but he was Washington's first-round pick last year, named Dane Dooning, also a right-handed pitcher with a plus fastball and changeup, and he needs to work on a third pitch. You know, maybe Don Cooper will teach him a cutter that he teaches everybody when the White Sox acquire a pitcher. But the White Sox acquired a first-round pick, 39th overall prospect, and the 3rd overall prospect in baseball for Adam Eaton. And you know what? Adam Eaton's a good player. Adam Eaton's better than Jason Hayward. He is. And you know what? He reached his peak.
I love you, Jay Hay.
Yeah, Jay Hay, you're overpaid. But Adam Eaton is at the peak of his value. He's only going to get worse from here because, first of all, Washington's playing him in center field. Trey Turner had a better defensive metric rating in center field than Adam Eaton did. And Trey Turner's a natural shortstop. They're going to be moving Turner to shortstop for Adam Eaton. I don't know what happened that the White Sox got this.
They essentially raided Washington's farm system.
Yeah, Rick Hahn.
With the exception of not getting Robles.
You know what? And that was what I was initially worried about too, because when Ken Rosenthal tweeted out that the Adam Eaton deal was just about done, no Robles involved, I was like, well, there's no way they're going to get Giolito. There's no way they're getting the best pitching prospect in baseball, so it's probably going to start with Reynaldo Lopez. But they got Lopez, they got Giolito, and they got Dane Dooning, the first-round pick from last year.
This was essentially Mike Rizzo feeling the pressure of being the hometown team in the winter meetings, all this talk about us getting Chris Sale, all this talk about us getting Andrew McCutchen, swing and miss. I got to make a move. I got to make a big move. I got to go get somebody, and I go get Adam Eaton, and I give up 2 great pitching prospects and my first-round pick from last year. It doesn't make any sense.
I feel so bad because I feel like we're trashing Adam Eaton. Adam Eaton's a good baseball
player.
Sure,
he's not worth what they got back.
But he's not worth this. This was... If you feel
they were talking about these pieces to move for Chris Sale. That doesn't make any sense.
That's the thing. The Washington offer for Chris Sale were these 3 pieces plus Victor Robles, who is the number 9 prospect in all of baseball and a center field prospect. White Sox didn't even need to give up Chris Sale to get that.
No.
Yeah. I'm sitting here doing this podcast and I'm wondering if this is real. Because
I wish we had Mike Rizzo's phone number.
yeah,
Yo, Mike, what the
fuck was
are
that?
you doing?
I'm sitting here and I'm looking. You highlight Yoan Moncada's name, #1 prospect in all of baseball, #1 second base prospect. The number 30 prospect just popped up for some reason, maybe because I clicked his arrow. And then you look at the next prospect is Lucas Giolito, #1 right-handed pitching prospect and the #3 prospect in all of baseball. This is what you're supposed to do if you're a team that can't win in any sport, maybe outside of the NFL, where you just tank and you get young, controllable talent to build a core around.
Yep.
The White Sox have 6 prospects now in the top 80 or top 100 overall. Zach Collins is the number 80 prospect in all of baseball. But their top 6 prospects are Yoan Moncada, Lucas Giolito, Michael Kopech, Reynaldo Lopez, Carson Fulmer, and Zach Collins. The top 4 were not on the team 30 hours ago. It's amazing the work Rick Hahn has done. And I've told you on this show before that I hate Kenny Williams.
Yes, as everybody I think does.
I hate Jerry Reinsdorf, and I've been very, very harsh about how long I want Jerry Reinsdorf to live for. But
not very long.
Not very long. But I've always told you, I like Rick Hahn. I think Rick Hahn can do really good things, and I think Rick Hahn has been doing
Finally got
good
off
things.
that leash.
Yeah, I think he went to Jerry and was like, enough's enough. He went just right over Kenny and just said, enough's enough. You want to see a winner in your lifetime? Winning 75 to 80 games every year is not going to get you a win in your lifetime. I do want to say a special fuck you to Kenny Williams, though, because you had Chris Sale.
You wasted him.
You had Jose Quintana. You had Carlos Rodon, all in the same rotation. You have a stud first baseman, Jose Abreu, a third baseman who hits 40 bombs every year. Yeah, Jose Abreu has fallen off a little bit, but he's still, a starting caliber first baseman.
Sure.
You had a 6-WAR right fielder in Adam Eaton. You had Melky in left who hits 300, and you couldn't win with them. You couldn't open up the wallet and say, hey, let's pay Yoenis Cespedes X amount of money so we can get protection for Abreu and Frazier. I don't understand. I don't understand how you have a core like this and you don't add to it. Like, the Cubs did the right thing at the right time. They had all these young pieces, so what do? Sign John Lester, sign Hayward, who didn't contribute to them winning much.
What's up, Jay Hay?
And you signed Ben Zobrist.
John Lackey.
Yeah, John Lackey as well. I'm not the biggest fan of John Lackey, but he did pitch well in the 4th starter role. So
You're damn right he did.
yeah. So you get this young core, and then you use your money to build around that. You don't use your money to
Especially in
build
a big market like Chicago.
Yeah, that's why I'm very harsh towards Jerry Reinsdorf, too, because Jerry Reinsdorf ain't opening up his checkbook for these players anymore. Yeah. I mean, you're in Chicago. I understand that.
Money's not an issue.
Yeah.
Especially in baseball, where the only thing you're worried about is the luxury tax.
My big worry is that down the road, when you've got, Zach Collins as your starting catcher or maybe first baseman or DH, you got Giolito and Lopez and Kopech and Fulmer in the starting rotation, and you've got Moncada as your stud second baseman with Tim Anderson at short, that it's going to be the time for them to open up their pocketbooks, and they're going to be like, nope.
All right, we'll trade all of you now.
Yeah, it's a worry of mine, but you know what? That's a worry I don't have to have for about 2 years, because you know what, White Sox fans, we still have Jose Quintana. We still have Jose Quintana, who is going to...
That's the next
that's the next topic? Guys, I'm all over the place.
Where are we going with Quintana, Abreu, Melky, Frazier, Robertson? What are you thinking about all 5 of those guys?
Okay. So the only 3 names that I feel legitimately have a chance to get moved are Quintana, Frazier, and D-Rob.
Yes.
Abreu maybe depends on...
The Rockies had interest.
The Rockies had interest, and they signed Ian Desmond, and the speculation is that they'll play Ian Desmond at first.
Unless they trade
Blackman to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Then you put Ian Desmond in center, and then maybe Jose Abreu's market opens up a little bit again. Frazier would be looking to go to the Dodgers. I would try to snag a top 100 prospect for him, maybe towards the back end, because Frazier will give you 40 bombs, but his on-base percentage isn't great.
Maybe you package him with Robertson, depending how the closer market shakes out. I know Miami.
That's into the next point too, then, right. Because you can't trade David Robertson to one of these closer needy teams because Chapman and Jansen are still on the market.
Yes.
Once those guys go, someone's going to get real desperate.
You know someone's about to pay. Aroldis Chapman has an offer right now for $92 million.
Yep, and I'm feeling it's from the Yankees because
the Yankees said it's not them. They said they have
really
it's not them. Yeah,
well,
no, they denied.
Shit. I feel like the Yankees will be the team that maybe gives him $100 million.
Someone is going to give him $100. I thought it was crazy when I saw that like, weeks ago. He wants $100 million. No chance.
That's 3 times what Chris Sale makes, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, once Jansen signs, last time I saw was the Marlins.
Marlins
really wanted Jansen
so bad because Don Mattingly obviously managed Jansen in LA, so he has connection there. And he went and talked to Jansen, I guess, and said, "Listen, Kenley, do you have any interest in playing in Miami? You know, I'm not going to waste time. You tell me no, we won't even offer." So apparently Jansen does have interest, but he has that draft pick attached to him too.
Yeah. It would be most beneficial for the White Sox if Jansen did sign in Miami because then you got one closer left, Chapman, for either the Yankees or the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's not signing with the Dodgers. Say that right now.
If
it's between the Yankees and the Dodgers,
why do you think that?
He's not going to LA.
Why not?
Why would he?
Because they have money to offer him?
He would go back to the Yankees. He's already played there. He already knows the clubhouse, already knows the players, likes it there. He's already been comfortable there.
But the Dodgers have a better chance to win right now.
He's not going to LA. No
chance.
chance.
His ring.
Excuse the fuck out of me.
Yeah, he's already got a ring too.
Okay, well, if both teams offer you the same amount of money and one offers you a chance to win a ring next year, what are you doing?
Or if I'm Aroldis Chapman, I'm going back to New York. Also, I saw something on Twitter. It was like if the old Steinbrenner was still in charge, whatever his name was, Hal or whatever. I don't remember the Steinbrenners, but if he was still in charge, Aroldis Chapman would already be in pinstripes and would already have $100 million.
I don't see what the big holdup is because he has no draft pick attachment.
Right, he should
and
go
the Yankees and Dodgers aren't short on money.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just Chapman sitting there like, all right, I got this $100 million contract, I got this $100 million contract, and Chapman might be taking his sweet time, but there's no risk for draft pick. There's no there might be a luxury tax sort of risk, but I'm not too privy on that. But it depends on where he ends up for Chapman, and then whichever team doesn't get Chapman is going to need a closer.
Yeah.
And David Robertson has experience for playing well on the Yankees. And you know what? David Robertson isn't a bad closer.
He's not at least.
He's not Chapman.
No. He's not Wade Davis. Foreshadowing.
And the White Sox actually have his replacement ready to go in Zach Birdie. So I see David Robertson moving. I see Todd Frazier, the least likely of these top 3 moving, but I see D-Rob moving. And then Jose Quintana, I have him currently, well, not scheduled, but my desire is for him to go to the Houston Astros because the Astros have a couple young bats in their top 6 prospects where they would look really nice in a White Sox system that, is still a little bit bat weak in terms of their farm system. I mean, they still have a top 5 farm system. I would argue top 3, but I would look for a package centered around Kyle Tucker, who was the their first round pick, the 5th overall pick in 2015. He's a corner outfielder with plus power and a great hit tool. He would be where I would start. And he would also signal that the rebuild is going to take a couple of years because he is only 19 years old. I would start with him, and then I would probably ask for Derek Fisher or Daz Cameron, who are both outfielders, are going to turn into regular starters, in my opinion. And then maybe a pitcher like Forrest Whitley, who is their number 3 prospect, who I love his stuff more than I like Francis Martes, who is their number 1 overall prospect. So I see Q going to Houston to get a couple of these
bats.
That's
the most likely.
Yeah.
That's the next piece that's going to fall for the White Sox.
And you know what? If that goes, the White Sox could feasibly, not even feasibly, I think it's already right there. They could have the number 1 farm system in all of baseball.
And they still have 6 months to move everybody.
Yeah.
The trade deadline is still in July. So.
Yeah, that's another thing, too, because Quintana had another year of control more than Chris Sale. So if you hang on to Jose Quintana until July, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
You could trade him to a team that needs him in the for the playoff stretch.
Someone has an injury at the beginning of the season.
And then really take advantage of a team that needs a starting pitcher out of desperation.
Sure.
So, yeah, the White Sox could have 8, 9 top 100 prospects in all of baseball.
They're off to a good start. You just got to finish strong.
That's wild.
You got to deal Quintana for sure. Frazier, if Turner doesn't sign in LA, Frazier will definitely be a Dodger in my mind. So wait to see how that plays out. Robertson could get packaged in one of these deals. I feel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hold on to him. Let Birdie get a little more seasoning.
If you think that Chapman's going to go to the Yankees and the Dodgers aren't going to have a closer, why not package Frazier and D-Rob and send them to the Dodgers?
2 more prospects.
You can get more prospects for him, and yeah, It's just surreal for White Sox fans. And my big thing is I want them to do this the right way. I want this to take 2 years. I was texting Tim today, one of our buddies.
Yeah.
I told him we're gonna go to White Sox games next year, and we're gonna watch them. I got so disinterested in watching them after Tim Anderson's debut because they had no direction. They picked a damn lane, and you know what? White Sox Twitter is exuberantly happy about what has happened today.
Yeah.
You picked a damn lane. I don't care if they win 60 games next year. I don't care. I don't care if they win 60 games in 2017, 2018. You're going to get 2 top 5 picks. You have the number 12 pick this year. That's 3 more top prospects you can add to your system. I mean, build a team, goddammit.
And that's what they're on pace for.
Yeah, this is great.
Sure.
This is great. I've never been so excited to see a team suck so goddamn bad.
Yep. Now we're gonna flip over to the Cubs here, where we try not to suck. Shout out Joe Madden. And we did not suck, and we won the championship. And here we are adding an elite closer, Wade Davis, straight up for Jorge Soler. I know Corey doesn't like Jorge Soler.
I think he's garbage.
I think Jorge Soler is going to play much better in Kansas City, where he'll have a chance to play every day.
Yeah, if he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah, if he stays on the field, correct. So I think the Cubs could potentially end up with a steal here for Wade Davis, who has been phenomenal since moving to the bullpen full time. He's got an ERA, I think, of 1.13 over the last few seasons. He's dominant in October. He has a World Series championship with the Royals. He's been to 2 World Series, so I think this is a superb move for the Cubs. And
I'm sorry.
And I think it comes relatively cheap because they are dealing from a point of a position of power, essentially, where they have so many corner outfielders in their system. They don't need Jorge Soler. So wish him the best of luck. Wade Davis steps in. He's your closer from day one. And the Cubs are not done. I think they'll add 1 to 2 more arms. Guy like Tyson Ross.
Yeah, we talked about
Tyson Ross looking for $9 to $11 million. I saw. That's a little steep.
Pitching's expensive, man.
That's a little steep. I think.
Not every
contract.
Not every contract can be a Chris Sale or Jose Quintana.
Yeah, I get it. So that could be a guy they target. Other than that, I think it'll be something small in the bullpen, a veteran arm. I know Travis Wood they like, but he's got interest from 7 teams just in the National League alone. So that could be tough. But something small like that, maybe a Tyson Ross, just to give them more depth. Jed Hoyer was quoted today saying, "Depth is the most underrated thing in baseball," and that's what we strive to have. So.
Yeah, just on the Wade Davis deal, though. I mean, he's got 1 year left on his contract.
Yes.
So next offseason, the Cubs are likely looking for a closer again.
Yes.
For Jorge Soler was a top 50 prospect who did not pan out as expected. He hasn't really had the chance to. He's been injured, and I still think he's garbage. But
I think you'll see better numbers out of Jorge.
If he turns out to be an average corner outfielder, he puts up 15, 20 homers a year, plays excellent defense.
And the big thing for Kansas City was 4 years of control at a really cheap price.
Because Kansas City's not a big market team.
And they're about to lose everybody. Kansas City's about to be horrible again.
If you look at the AL Central, every team's tanking except the Twins and the Indians, and the Twins have been tanking for years anyway.
Well, Detroit's not really tanking.
They're trying.
They didn't trade anybody, so they're not tanking.
Yeah,
Detroit,
if they can't get rid of anybody, that roster is going to be funny to watch when their average age is like 37. Because they really.
Well, you can't trade those contracts.
Who's going to want them?
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. You can't trade them.
I mean, it's going to be the Indians running away with this division again. And you know what? Wade Davis does have injury concerns. I'm looking at an article right now. His second DL stint from this previous year in July is when this article was written. Cause for long-term concern. It's a weird deal to me because Wade Davis, if he was a dominant closer, he still has dominant stuff. It's just, can he stay on the field for it?
And that's what I was worried about too when I saw for Soler. I was like, okay, well, what are they doing? Like, are they checking? And the Cubs did a really thorough search on his forearm and everything like that. So I trust that Theo and Ted and this whole staff.
And you should.
Yeah, they got it
They've given you no reason not to.
Right, yeah. So.
But I don't believe he's 100% right now. That's why you got him for Jorge Soler. But hey, if he's healthy, he's saving Game 7 of the World Series.
47 games probably. Get saves. I mean, you can see him getting 50 saves next year if he's healthy. Yeah, absolutely. And Game 4 of the World Series.
We're going to talk about that another day, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, that's all we got for you guys today. This episode of Mom's Basement or Mind Over Matter Sports. Corey, thank you for being here. As usual, I have been Joe, and we will see you guys next time.
And they locked in on every pitch. Life crazy got the boy tagging me in pics. They think they getting me, but they ain't never stressing me. Cooking in the lab, and I got the recipe. Mama always texting me, but I don't always get to see. But trust me, she already know I got the message. I get the message. Love my family and my circle. Shot my Steves, word up.